Yes, welcome back to this episode of Touchline Talks. Obviously, you've got your boy Jay Socials, and you've got a man that needs no introduction. You've seen
Come
him a
on.
couple of times on this channel,
Come on.
Mr. Chelsea, Mr. Blues. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but Mr. Eze in the building. Obviously, we're going to be talking all things transfer today, mostly Chelsea. We don't have that much time, but we're going to try to cover as many topics as possible. And yeah, obviously it's the summer. All that's all we can talk about is transfers and preseason. So, Eze, how you doing? Obviously, it's been a while since you've been on the show, and since we've talked in general. So, how's life? How are things going?
Things are good. It's been a while since I've been invited back. I've been begging to come back. Josh has been refusing numerous times, finally allowed me to show my face and see you guys. So yeah, everything's been good. Sorry, I'm
Okay.
back.
No
Yeah,
worries.
it's all good. All good.
Okay. Hey, I've been trying to come through, but obviously life has been busy and low key. I've been waiting for us to make a signing at United. You know how
Oh,
United summers are is a lot of rumors. Everyone's cat and dog is linked to United, but we have no signing. So part of the delay was me just waiting for us to have a signing so that I could talk about something. But yeah, definitely happy to have you on the show. And so we're just gonna get straight to it. Sorry, I'm not sure if you're having internet difficulties or if that's on my end.
no, I think that might be on. Can you hear me still?
I can still hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Let me give it a second. Sorry about that. Do I have to come back and maybe come out and come back in?
Okay.
Does that work? Okay.
Let's see. See if you can refresh your browser, maybe. Sorry, everyone. Eze is just having some technical difficulties at the moment, but I know obviously for those of you that have watched this channel, okay, he's coming back. You're good now. Okay.
All right.
I was trying to fill up the that time that you were gone just to talk about why I'm wearing a Juve jersey these days as
Oh
a
yeah, why?
Manchester United fan.
I'd love to know. Why are you wearing that?
Mr. Labille Pogba, man. My goat,
Oh,
my goat, my goat.
R.I.P.
He's across the channel to Italy. Well, not across the channel. He's in the Mediterranean right now, enjoying the sun,
I know.
enjoying his new teammates, enjoying fans that actually love him. But anyways, let's just get back to the show. Let's get back to the show.
Sir.
So obviously, let's start with preseason. Obviously, you guys have played a few games, Chelsea in America, because you guys are in LA or Vegas for your preseason. So obviously, you haven't had too many signings coming yet. You've had Sterling, you've got Koulibaly, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So tell me, man, how's your preseason going? I see your boy Mason Mount scoring some
Oh,
golazos.
oh man. The boy.
Having some interviews. But yeah, tell me, man, how you feeling
Yeah.
about the preseason?
So far we just had the one preseason game in Vegas, I believe, 1-2-1 with that Mason Mount 90th minute screamer. Outside of that, we have another game coming up, I believe, at 7 p.m. Eastern time in Charlotte, and then we have our final one. Not sure where that is, but against Arsenal in the U.S. as well too. Um,
Okay. So not too many
uh,
games then. Okay, so not too many games.
yeah, no, not many at all, which is really interesting. But yeah, it's fun because I know United's been playing a lot in the past couple of weeks, and there's been a lot of games on. And you guys have been doing well, but for us, just the one. Another one coming up later today. Yeah, so just a couple signings so far. Again, similar to United, a lot of rumors, and I get baited every single time. I get invested every single time to every one of these rumors. But so far, coming through the door is only maybe the greatest center back in the world right now. If we're being on, if you ask
Ooh.
the greatest center back in the world, Kalidou Koulibaly, and then we have a world class winger in Raheem Sterling. I
Oh,
have
you're now
also
slapping that world class, eh? You're slapping the world class
listen,
now.
man. If we're here to talk, right? We're here to discuss, right? I, now that he's on Chelsea, he's 100% world class, 100%. But yeah, two great signings, and I think more to come. Even Tuchel mentioned it literally yesterday in his interview that he needs more signings coming in. It looks like in the next couple of days, if Barca doesn't take away another one of our players, it looks like maybe Kounde is going to be coming in at right center back. All great, just all great things coming out of the Chelsea camp, to be honest. Yeah, I want to go until on the tangent, but yeah, that's kind of where we stand right now. Two signings coming in, definitely more on the way.
Okay. And do you think those signings are what you guys need right now? Like in terms of obviously Sterling coming in, because you guys had options with Pulisic, you had options with Timo Werner.
Oh my god,
Um,
so many.
like how you feeling about these signings? I know you're excited. It's one thing to be excited. Obviously, there are new names into the door. You
Mm-hmm.
got to put respect on Sterling's name, even if you don't, you
No,
don't. You got to put some respect on his name, even though you might not. Some people might not see him as world class, or some people might say because he was in a city team that was well organized under Pep. Is that a sign that you felt that you needed as a team, and he
uh,
fit Tuchel's style?
I do actually. I really do. For those who don't watch Chelsea as often, you'll see that we do have an abundance of wingers. Hudson-Odoi, Ziyech, technically Werner as well too. Pulisic, Havertz can play on that wing as well. We played Mount over there as well too. So it looks as though that we have a lot of wingers and attacking players, and that probably isn't a position that we should be investing in the summer. But that's actually not the case if we're being candid. Ziyech looks like he's going to be leaving. Werner is awful. I think that's 2 seasons now. He's awful. Havertz plays directly through the middle, and now we want to move Mason Mount back to an 8. And on top of that, within that Tuchel system, as we're playing 3 at the back, those attacking players need to be kind of high quality and have the ability to kind of take their man on and beat their man.
Yeah.
None of them did that at all last year. In terms of take-ons, in terms of a little bit of creativity and a little bit of spark, that was never the case. We were just kind of playing the system, passing the ball around the box until hopefully we find a way through. So that's something that Tuchel stressed extremely during this transfer window. That's why we were linked to Sterling and end up getting Sterling, and that's why we put such a large bid for Rafinha from Leeds. Guys who want to just attack and run at defenders and kind of create something. So in that sense, yeah, I understand the mold of players that we're looking for, and Tuchel has a huge influence in what our transfer priority is and what kind of players we're looking at.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because I was even thinking maybe Timo Werner would have a bit more of a role to play now. That because he's well, did he score in the last game as well?
Yeah.
And I know Chelsea fans, and I keep saying this. I think there is a place for Timo Werner on that team.
Oh my.
'Cause I was thinking maybe he might drift more to the middle now that Lukaku's gone. And I didn't get the chance to get your take on Lukaku. Obviously, we haven't spoken since the season ended. Obviously, that was a train wreck that happened ever since that interview that he had early in the season.
Yeah.
He never recovered from that, I would say. Obviously, we know the market for number nines. There is no market for number nines right now.
Yeah.
Letting someone like Lukaku go, do you think that was the smartest thing to do at this point, or was it just more of yes, you let a quality striker leave, but
Mhm.
it was for the betterment of the entire team.
So I don't know what the viewers or yourself like what context you have in the whole situation because it was literally like a soap opera. Like this was just a roller coaster of emotions. I liked Lukaku from the beginning. Even when we signed him under Mourinho, right? We signed him under Mourinho, but we had Costa playing ahead of him, and Costa was fantastic for Chelsea. Right? We won the league with him that year. Played the 3 at the back. Did a lot of fantastic things with Diego Costa. Right? So he couldn't get into the team. Was loaned out to West Brom, loaned out to Everton, performed well both times, and eventually was sold to Everton. Made his way to Man U, disappointed. Then went back to Italy with Conte, completely reinvented himself, was looking like a top 5 striker in the entire world. And we brought him back, and I was excited for that. What the context I think a lot of people are missing is that he didn't want to leave to begin with. That's one. All right. They had to make him leave because it was a £100 million offer or £99 million offer. And as you can tell, Inter was in serious dire straits even after winning the league. Right, they had real financial trouble, so they kind of pushed him out because the offer was so large.
Yeah.
Within this is not a joke. This is like I have sources that can cite you. Within weeks of getting to Chelsea, within weeks of getting to Chelsea, he was already talking with the inter team members, the backroom staff, the coaches about coming back. This is a fact.
Well, he kind of gave that away in his interview.
The guy's
Like,
a slime. He openly discussed it. So as soon as he was playing well to begin the season, that's a little bit of injury worry. He comes back, and the team doesn't work around Lukaku. Like he came,
yeah,
he was bigger than everybody else. But remember, we have Champions League winners. They're not just gonna bend to your every whim and play the ball to feet every single time. They have their own jobs to do as well too. So when he came back and things weren't materializing the way he thought he would, that's when he could deliver the interview. He had the interview, and he called that person in for the interview, and they had
yeah.
a sit down. It wasn't even like it was a
He was
impromptu.
approached by. He wasn't approached
Exactly.
by someone. He actually instigated the interview.
He sought them after, and it all makes sense because he was always looking to go back to Inter because he wanted to leave to begin with. So all that kissing the badge when he scored against Arsenal and doing all this ridiculous things, it was all just lip service. And you saw his true colors when he went back. Now he's giving interviews now. He's back in Inter saying, "Going to Chelsea was a mistake. I never should have left. This is my home." Blah 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 blah. After saying that this is the return of, because when he came back to Chelsea, he was saying this is a return. This is where I should be. He did all these just phony things that just makes me think like it's past football now. I think it's past that. I
Yeah.
hate him with with like the fire of hell. Like I don't know.
Oh wow! There's some Dragon Ball Z stuff going on.
Is this too much? Should I bring it down? I don't know. It's
No, it's
crazy.
all good, man. It's all good. No, but that's crazy because that's crazy. Yeah, because you know what? I thought everyone was overreacting from that interview initially,
Mm-hmm.
because obviously we've seen players do it in the past where they flirt with other clubs or the idea of other clubs, and I think Lukaku he romanticized the whole Inter like sting. He was there for was it 1 or 2 seasons? He was there for 2 seasons. Okay, yeah, the 2 seasons he won one league, maybe a cup, but it's like there were reasons as to why he performed that way. I was actually watching this. I don't know if you saw this thing on. I think it was Tifo, and they were analyzing how. No, I think it was the Athletic. Well, then it's like the same
Yes.
channel, anyways. And they were analyzing why Lukaku was successful in Inter versus at Chelsea, and they talked about how at Inter, he was more involved in the build-up play. He
Mm-hmm.
was able to drop deep, pass it on, and then run into space to receive the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Versus at Chelsea, he was deep, but he wasn't getting the ball, right? So he was always having to come deep, but there was never the give and goes or he was never able to receive it, you know, at a half turn where he can receive it at a half turn, lay it off, and then you
Mm-hmm.
know break off from the defender. It was always 2-on-1 at every time because of the way Chelsea plays, right? You guys are heavily you involve your midfield a lot, right? And that's why Chelsea historically has always had midfielders scoring, 20 goals a season kind of thing, right? Because of how your system is. So, so I was thinking it was more from a footballing standpoint, but it looks like I'm sorry, I was thinking it was more from a footballing standpoint that did not work out. But watching that video kind of showed me a different perspective. And then for what you're saying, what other Chelsea fans are saying, it looks like he just wasn't. Maybe obviously you were going to take the money, right? He probably got into Chelsea thinking, you know what, £100 million, I've made it. It's a second coming. I'm going to try to prove myself in England a second time, right? And I'm guessing some things at the back didn't work out with him because when he first came, he was firing though, and then he had that interview, then
Mm-hmm.
got injured, and just never was flatlined from
Yeah,
there.
because he has no spine, he has no heart, he has no backbone. He. I haven't seen somebody like to that level just completely just capitulate and just run away with his tail between his legs. I would assume, personally, if you've made it to the highest level of football, you've faced extreme adversity. You have
Yeah,
to. There's no way you just got here by mistake, right? And as a result, when things go bad or wrong for you, the first thing in your mind shouldn't be, let me run back to where I was before. You try to face it head on and continue
Yeah.
to. That's why it was so disappointing and so upsetting that he just ran. And even in Tuchel's interviews, he was saying, "Yeah, I spoke to Lukaku. I told him, hey, next season we're going to do our best to get you involved more. We want you to be here. Blah 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 blah." He wasn't interested in any of that.
In any
He
of that.
was
Wow.
ready to go back to Italy. And what I don't understand what in Italy that he found that was so fantastic. I don't get it. He was there for 2 years. What
Probably
the
the
hell happened?
weather and the spaghetti, man.
Like, did he have a baby over there? Like, I don't even get it. And even the Inter fans are like, yeah, I guess he could come back or whatever, because like, they were so upset for him leaving to begin with. So he pissed
Yeah.
off, and then now he's running back with his tail between his legs, saying, "Hey, like an ex girlfriend saying, hey, take me back."
Yeah. Literally, man. Literally. That's what it felt like. Yeah. And yeah, it's like, sometimes like footballs don't have shame in terms of how they can leave a club or come to a club and then leave a club the way they do. It's like, okay, like the amount of money that they're being paid and the disrespect that they give to, obviously I know clubs do their shady stuff behind the
Mm-hmm.
scenes. Don't get me wrong, clubs are not innocent,
Yeah,
but the amount of money that they spend on these players, you would expect them to be a little bit more professional
no, for
in
sure.
the way they react. And everyone, you're free to have your opinions. You're free to, you're free to not want to be at a club, but
Yeah,
it's how you go about doing that. That's
no,
really the main thing, right? Like it's
I wouldn't have. I'm typically, even when it comes to watching basketball, I'm a player first guy. When LeBron wanted to leave Cleveland, I'm like, listen, man, he didn't do anything to you. He did his best. You guys are. It's not working out. He's gonna leave. I have no problem with that at all. Right? My issue kind of arose because he was doing all these extra things. He was saying, "I'm coming home. I'm kissing the badge. This is where I want to be." Blah 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 blah. And to find out during all of that, even when he gave his apology after the video, right, saying, "I want to be here. I'm so sorry to the fans." Blah blah blah. He was still talking to Inter. Like, this is like, it doesn't get any more dishonest than that. Like, this is in plain view. You know,
yeah.
that's why it's unforgivable, Josh. It's unforgivable, man.
That's like that relationship where you see your girl texting some guy, you're like, "Yo, who's that?" It's like, "Oh no, it's just a friend." And then she's still texting the friend. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. What's going on here? It's just a friend, but
100%.
yeah, it's
100%.
a red flag. That's some craziness, man. So do you guys even have like in terms of number nines? I'm guessing Kyle Havertz is gonna be your number nine then. Like, do you feel like he's good enough to carry you guys? Because I don't see 20 goals in him. I honestly don't in Kai Havertz.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Neither
how are
do
you
I.
guys gonna set up? Like, how would you like to see you guys set up now that you've got Raheem Sterling?
Oh, this is a great question.
Which you can, I guess, in this question, you can definitely talk about your feelings on signing, according
Oh,
to you,
oh,
a world class player.
I want to preface this by saying that I'm one of the most delusional fans you'll ever meet.
Aren't all Chelsea fans?
Honestly, you're probably right. But I started supporting Chelsea like at a pretty young age. I'm a pretty young person to begin with, so it was just been success all the way through. Very minimum years where you don't win a trophy. So I'm used to it, and I want it to continue. With that being said, this three at the back stuff, I'm not interested in it. I don't like it. I don't like it. It puts so much stress on our wingbacks, on Chilwell and James. They have to go and cover the entire pitch. They get injured so often. Like,
I was about to say, yeah.
it's crazy. Like, hand to heart, like, Reece James is the one thing that all Chelsea fans agree on. That's what we all agree on. He is the best player on this team. He is everything. Like, he is that fantastic, right? And we need to put him in positions where he can play as much games as possible and be involved as much as possible. And this three at the back system, I don't think it needs to happen. We have an owner with money who wants to spend, right? Let's play some free flowing attacking football and not have five defenders on the pitch. So that's one. So just with that being said, Mendy obviously in goal. Reece as right back. Kounde hopefully comes in the next couple of days, right center back, with Kalidou Koulibaly on the left, and then Ben Chilwell coming off his injury at left back. And then I'll play a 4-3-3. So in the middle, Kovacic, who was so severely underrated by everybody, except for Chelsea fans, he's one of the best 6s, 8s in the Premier League, in my opinion. The way he carries the ball,
Agreed.
it's insane. So I have Kovacic there. Kante still has a lot to give. I'll still put him in there as well too. And then I play Mount as a third, a little bit ahead in that 3. Then on the left, I think that's Sterling's best position. So Sterling on the left. In the middle, I would use Havertz. And on the right, I would say Pulisic or a new signing. But kind of depending on how that goes. But that team there, I think that's easily a top 4 team. I think that, especially defensively. And then, the way we perform in the Champions League, we can make a run just kind of based on the way we defend. So that team for now, for 2022, I think has a lot of success.
Yeah, you know what? I think like Tuchel's teams, they seem to be like more competition style, right, than league style. So that's my only worry. But I think if you guys with the back 3, you guys are gonna be more attacking, I would say, right? So that was what I would think. You guys are more attacking. So maybe you're like players like Chilwell and Rhys James don't have to focus so much on having to track back all the time, right? Because they're gonna be further up the pitch. So you don't have to worry so much about their defensive capabilities.
That's true.
Which could help. And that's why you need a Conte. I think that's why you're gonna need a Conte in there.
Yeah.
To kind of support that, right?
Thing like with Chilwell missed the entire season last year, like in December. He was just gone.
Yeah, because he was one of the top
top
left backs in the league.
Yeah. And my whole thing is just like the thing with basketball, football, and everything else. The people in the front of the pitch, the people with the ball, I want those to be the best people at creating options or creating plays, right? As good as Rhys James is at crossing the ball, he's not a winger. He's not an attacker, right? If you want to score goals and attack, let's put more attackers on the pitch. We didn't create that many chances last year compared to the top 4 teams. Like there was a big gap between Liverpool, City, and us, right? We're trying to be that threshold. We're not going to do it by winning games 1-0. We need to be on the front foot and attack. And make it more fun to watch as well too, right? So that's my whole thing with the 3 at the back. I don't love it. I'm just not interested in it. If you want to do it in cups, if you want to do it against big teams and kind of sit back and absorb pressure, bring on Thiago Silva as well too, that could work. But let's put some attacking plays on the pitch, man.
But I think you guys don't have the right attackers though, and I think that's probably why you guys struggled last season because you were going to rely on Lukaku. We saw how that ended, right? And then Kyle Havertz, this was his second full season last year, right? Where we still didn't, I don't think he's the number 9 that you rely on, you know what I mean, for a full season to get you those goals. Obviously, I feel like he's one of those strikers that, he's going to get you a few goals when it matters. But just on the everyday grind. Sorry?
Absolutely. Champions League final.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? League cups and stuff like that. Yeah, he's going to get you those goals. But I think, like we always love to say, right? A rainy day in Stoke where it's 0-0, you're away from home, it's cold. And, you just need someone to just nick in a goal for you. Just be there at the right time, scrub, fight through a couple of defenders and get the ball in. I don't see Kai Havertz doing that, and I think that's why you guys are still going to struggle because you're going to have supply. I think, Chilwell and Rhys James, Sterling coming to the mix. Pulisic, the only thing with Pulisic is I think you guys need to sign someone else because we know his injury record. He's only fit for like half a season. So, and then it takes him time to get back into form. And he looks like he's a confident kind of player. He relies on confidence. When he's not confident, it definitely shows in his game, right? So,
Josh, let me ask you this actually, which is before I know we're running out of time.
Yeah,
De Jong. I know the situation with United and De Jong. I heard a bid was accepted, 85 million, which is 75 plus 10 million in add-ons, something along those lines. Whatever.
Yeah.
And Barcelona owe him money because he deferred his wages over the past couple of years, right?
Yeah, because of COVID.
I've been hearing, this is what I've been hearing, Josh. So don't take it as my word. That's what I've been hearing De Jong to Chelsea. That's what I've been hearing, Josh.
That's what I've been hearing too. What
are your thoughts?
You know what?
Battle.
it kind of goes back to the same thing of I don't want a player who doesn't want to be here, right? Like I know I don't blame him. I don't blame him. Like if you're a player, this could potentially be his last contract, right? Yes, he's worked with Ten Hag. We all know that. Like, they had a good time in Ajax. But like we always say, right, going back to something that is familiar is not always the best. It's not always the best solution, right? So for me, I can kind of get it. He doesn't want to leave Barcelona. From talks, he loves it there. Who wouldn't? The weather is nice. He's got a few properties there with his girl or his wife. He's loving life there. And Barcelona is still that team that no matter how bad they are, and it's not no disrespect to La Liga, you know, Barcelona is always going to be a team that will make Champions League for the most part, right? They will have to screw up so bad for them not to make Champions League football, right? And Barcelona, all it takes is a couple of wins. Even if they go far in the Champions League, right, they can recoup money and then they can get back to winning weights, right? If they can build from last season. So he's probably looking at it and saying, you know what? I'm either going if I'm going to leave Barcelona, I've got to leave a club that is going places. And what's the next best place? Chelsea. So I could definitely see it from his point of view. I'm not hurt. Like at the end of the day, like if he doesn't want to come through, that's fine because, like you said, we don't want another player like Lukaku who is only coming because he's being forced out of the one club because of money, and then he comes to United. It's a very disappointing season. We don't make Europe again. Oh well, we make Europa League, and then now he becomes that Europa League player. So it's a lot of risk that he has to take as a player. So to be honest with him, like I have no grudges that if he decides to go to Chelsea, like I wouldn't be upset, because that's the state of our club. And I think I've known that for a long time, right? And it's just now we're beginning to see it unfold. But if he went to Chelsea, though, like, how would you feel about that? Like, who would have to leave? I'm guessing you guys would have to let someone go.
Yeah,
Or do you think it would be more squad depth?
I think he's better than everybody else on our team at that position, at least especially the way Conte's been playing the past 6 months or so with his injury record. He
Yeah.
definitely hurt, but probably a mix of Jorginho stepping away Jorginho would have to leave, but hopefully not Conte would leave as well too. But maybe something like that would have to take place in order to kind of make room because there's no way someone like De Jong come off the bench, right?
Yeah, exactly, right? And I don't think Conte will be too happy to come off the bench
Yeah, I know.
as often, right? And
Yeah.
Kovacic, I can see him playing next to Kovacic, though. I can
In
definitely
fact,
see that happen.
they both kind of carry the ball. They both progress with it. I like him a lot now. I didn't watch a lot of Barcelona, but he said in one of his interviews he likes to drop back and get the ball from the center backs.
Yeah,
Perfect. That's perfect.
that's what we're all looking for, man. That's what
What do
we're
you mean?
looking.
Oh my god, that's like a
That's
miracle.
what we're looking for. Yeah. So no, I think he'll be good, but like we said, right? There's still that reservation of he's never played in the EPL before. So is it going to be the same? Can he adapt to it? But I think if he's in the right system, why not?
Yeah,
Why
yeah.
not? Right? Like it
Even
all based on it all boils down to the system that he's played in.
even with that, I have a lot of Serie A and Bundesliga trepidation. When it came to Werner, if you watch these highlights of him playing or even watching the games themselves, Bundesliga is just wide open. It's just the highlight that they play is so high that there's so much space in behind that Werner just destroyed that whole league and scored 30 something goals
Yeah.
in right. So when it comes to Bundesliga attackers, I'm very weary now that I've got my hands slapped. And then with Serie A, I never rated Serie A ever.
Oh well,
I
ever?
never
No,
rated.
you crazy man. You can't say you never rated
Okay,
C
maybe
Serie
when
A, man.
Milan was doing their thing, they had Pirlo and all these other players. Yeah, fine. But in the last how many years? They haven't won a Champions League in how many years?
Okay, that's different. Okay, you mean like in recent history? I was gonna say that there was a time where
In terms
Italy
of
was ruthless, man.
players, like they've been so far behind, and now with their TV money, that they're way behind the curve of everybody else. So for me, I'm more scared of players coming from those two leagues as opposed to the Spanish.
Yeah.
That's just me though.
Yeah, but I think like you said, right? I think Chelsea has always been for strikers. I gotta say, man, like ever since since I really started following Chelsea, was honestly, I started really like paying more attention to Chelsea was when Mourinho took over, right?
Hmm?
So that's when it really like we started following like Chelsea in a daily because that's when no disrespect, that's when you became more relevant. Back then it was just United versus Arsenal, right? So and the rest.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but yeah, so it's one of those things about like strikers have always struggled, right? Like I think Drogba has been your only striker
And,
that has been successful.
and
Uh,
Costa, Diego Costa.
Diego Costa for a bit too. Yeah, he had his time there.
Those 2 seasons that he was there, he won the league with Mourinho,
Yeah,
and then Conte came in and drove him out. Yeah, no, he won it with Conte. I can't remember what it was, but those 3 seasons that he was there, he was up there in goals, like
yeah.
in
So I guess
goal.
yeah, I think honestly, man, I think it all depends on, like I've said, it's system and coaches, right? I think sometimes when you make those big money moves into a particular club, I think Timo Werner, I think he came in at the wrong time. He shouldn't have come in under Frank Lampard, because I think what happens is when you come in at the wrong time, it's hard to turn that page. It's hard to turn that page, especially in the new league. And then after the abuse he got the first season, it's not easy. It's not easy to mentally get yourself back to pace, but he might prove something different this year, especially as the World Cup year, right? So
And what last thing I'm gonna say on Werner, if you watch him play, fine, yeah, he struggles sometimes, but he's quick and then he works hard, everything else. This is what kind of buries Werner for me. When you go into our salary book and
yeah.
he's on 270 a week. That is evil. That is like that is insane. You know what I mean? That's what makes it even worse.
Yeah,
So I can't even look at him right now because you can't. We're at the point now where we want to sell him, but no one's gonna come near him because he's not even worth 100K a week. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I mean, so
You
uh,
never know, man. You know what I'm thinking, man? Like, I know you. I've said this a million times. I honestly believe that he's vital to you guys in certain games. Like I don't think you guys understand how vital he is for you guys. And I think now that you've got Sterling that is quick on his feet, can go past players. I think having someone like Werner there to even create more space. Because imagine having Sterling and Werner, right? That's going to be harder for defenders now because usually you need, on average, two defenders on Sterling, right? Because he's very quick, likes to cut in, cut out, cut in, cut out. Very bad. Defenders hate defending against players like that. And then when you've also got to watch your back for somebody who I think Timo Werner is one of the best runners in the game. Like I'm not kidding you. Like he's somebody who can distract defenders. Over no, what's his name? Last time you guys played Liverpool, Chelsea played Liverpool. He was a pain in the butt. I think I even said like, why didn't they bring Timo Werner on? And I think he got injured. That was why he never. This was the finals. Yeah, this was the
yeah,
finals. This was the final, the FA Cup finals. And I'm
but
like, you guys need Timo Werner on this field right now. And then what happened? I think he was injured or something. That's why he couldn't come on. But I think if he came onto that field, I
mhm,
think the game would have changed on his head because you could tell the Liverpool players were tired. And who do you need? Someone who that yes, his finishing is poor, but those movements, man, like those movements are priceless. Whereby you're always needing, now you always gotta have uh, two guys on him at all times. So that's why I think maybe with Sterling, we might see a different Timo Werner right now.
sure,
And
yeah,
if he gets the confidence that he needs and he gets the support from the coach,
yeah.
um, you never know.
I know, yeah, no, I know what you're saying. I couldn't disagree anymore. I couldn't disagree more with what you're saying, but I understand it. I get it. But you got a little bit off topic with the Werner conversation. But yeah, I like the way our team is shaping up overall as a whole. I have all the confidence and faith in Tuchel to deliver this season. The goal should be top three,
Yeah,
at least the semifinals in Champions League, and then redeem yourself in the FA Cup and win the FA Cup. That to me, quality season. And then next year we can start expanding on that. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And it's just really exciting right now because especially when everything happened with Roman and selling the team. I was really nervous to be in a position that you're in right now with owners who just want to suck the club dry and leave you penniless with nothing else. And I was really nervous about that. I wasn't sure how it was going to go, but by all indications, with Todd Bowley and his finance group and everything else that he's working with, Cola Capital, it's like the future is super bright for Chelsea right now.
Yeah.
I've been looking into even the LA Dodgers and what he's did over there. He came in there similar idea, kind of a underperforming team, a little bit of success, and he just went out and just spent all of the money. He just spent everything because he wants to win, and winning attracts even more attention to the team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That style, that formula is fantastic. It's going to lead to a lot of success for us.
Yeah. No, that makes sense though for sure. Like, yeah, like you said, because I know you were mouthing over about American owners and yeah, I love Americans, and I'm like, man, hold up, because teams like United, AS Roma, all these teams that have American owners, we're not really seeing
Mhm.
the fruits. We're not really seeing the results, right, from
Yeah,
their ownership. But at the
very.
end of the day, like but I think the one thing we can say is American owners do spend, because even when you look at United's
Yeah,
um, expenditure, it's high. The bill is high. It's just wrong recruitment. So as long as I think you guys have the right recruitment in place, which it looks like you are, well, first of all, you have a top manager. So that's always going to be the key in terms of recruiting players, right? Is do you have a manager with a philosophy? And then that kind of helps the recruitment team to find players with that philosophy. I think the problem with United, we just haven't had a philosophy in God knows how long, right? So, yeah, it's just been a team of different managers' ideas. But quick question, I was going to ask you. Obviously, apart from the rumors of De Jong, there's been rumors of Ronaldo potentially going to Chelsea. What is your thought on that? Because I know one of your big Chelsea guys, what's his name now? I forget his name now. The Chelsea
is he?
fan channels. What's his name?
Uh,
Lewis,
oh,
Carefree
Karen.
Lewis. Yeah, Carefree Lewis, man. He's been raving. He's like, I would take. He's like, I would drive to Manchester and get Ronaldo to Chelsea if he has to do
Yeah.
that. And I'm like, what?
Uh,
What is your take on that, man? How you feeling about Ronaldo?
just okay, to give you a bit of insight, the community is split on Ronaldo, from what I can tell on Twitter. Very, very split. Half of them are saying he is obviously what he is, one of the greatest players of all time. And when you have that kind of talent available, for 13 million pounds or whatever the quota price was, 20 million, you do it, right? And
Yeah,
saying that he's such a big personality in the dressing room, and the style that he plays in is runs counterintuitive to what we're trying to produce at Chelsea. What they mean by that is it's this pressing stat that they've been posting all the time on Twitter and everything else. I think Ronaldo, of all the people who qualified based on minutes, did the least amount of pressing of any other starting striker in the EPL. Didn't press at all,
yeah,
right? But the funny thing is that when I asked United people about that, or I watched videos on it, they say like sometimes Ronaldo goes all the way back to the midfield and puts the ball there and then carries it forward himself. So there's a huge debate over his work rate. So I was kind of split, but personally, if you have a chance to get Cristiano Ronaldo, you get Cristiano Ronaldo. That's the only answer to the question.
yeah.
It's like writing a test, and the answer is just A. There's just one answer. A. You click A. That's it.
Oh my god. Well, first of all, I don't know if I'll be getting. I don't know if you want to get the most accurate uh feedback of Ronaldo. I don't know if United fans are the
Oh,
best to do that
um,
because they're obsessed with this guy, man. United fans are a lot of them are obsessed with this guy, so it's hard to say. Like I think obviously Ronaldo will always get you goals, but I think it comes down to Oliver Kahn said that, right, from Munich. He said great player, great talent, but it's not what we're looking for, right? And I think that's the dilemma that Ronaldo is going to have is, yeah, you're 37, but are you a Ibrahimovic that can, even if he's not scoring goals, he's still contributing to the team.
mhm.
And the thing with Ronaldo, and this is no disrespect to Ronaldo, is when he's not playing, what you think about like a Benzema, for example.
Yeah.
When Benzema is not playing, Mourinho even said that on Sports Talk. When he's not playing, he's contributing to the team. You can still tell that he's part of it. When Ronaldo is not scoring goals, he's not the most relevant. And Ronaldo is not the kind of character that you want to like. I feel like the way I think Tuchel is. This is a big season for Tuchel, right?
Mhm.
This is his second full season. Now he's actually getting the players he wants because last season, apart from Lukaku, I don't think you guys got anybody else, right? Everybody else was signings prior to him coming,
Mhm.
right? So this is his full season where new owners. Last season was a little disappointing. You guys fell off the rails. Started off well, fell off the rails. So this is a season for him to really prove himself. No one is expecting him to win the league, but be in the race, be there on the last day, fighting with Liverpool and
Mhm.
City.
Mhm.
So I don't think Ronaldo is a type of character that you want to bring in when this is your time to shine. Because I feel any coach right now bringing someone like Ronaldo and he's throwing a tantrum on the bench in the locker room, you know who's going. It's going to be your head over his head, right? And I don't think Tuchel and Chelsea need that right now. They don't need that headache. You guys can do without him for sure.
Yeah, a lot of people are parroting the same thing that you're saying here. A lot of people are, and it's completely rational, and it makes perfect sense. But gun to my head, if I had to just be like, okay, you're trying to win the Champions League or the Premier League, either you get Ronaldo or you don't. You have to pick one or the other. There's you
The
you get
answer is still A.
so
Because
yeah,
that's the only option.
A or A. I'm gonna go with A. You know what I mean? He's
Yeah.
like the quality is there. He scores goals. I saw this quote I can't remember who said it, but they were saying that he solves all the issues that he creates. In that sense,
Hmm.
yes, he's a big personality in the dressing room. When things are going his way, what really happens? One, two, the pressing aspects really fit the team and everything else. So those are all problems that he's creating by being involved in the team. But with that, he scored 18 goals on a terrible Man United team. So whatever issues he caused, he just wiped all those off the board by the goals that he scored. You see what I mean?
Yeah. No, I definitely get your point there. And to be fair, um, I'm at the point now where it's a clean slate for United players now. I think seeing what I've seen in preseason, I think it's a clean slate. But prior to that, I stopped being hard on players. I stopped being hard on United players, and you know why? Because I just figured something has to change with our system, right? From the Mourinho to Ole, and then we had Radnick, who was interim, who could not really change anything.
Right.
I felt it got to a point, it was so toxic at United that you couldn't really blame any player because it didn't matter who you put in there. You could have put Ronaldo, Messi, Neymar, name your best players. You could have put them in that team and they would have struggled.
Mm-hmm.
So United was never. So I'm gonna cut Ronaldo slack in terms of pressing, just because we never pressed it as a team. We never had a system that allowed us to seamlessly press. So even if Ronaldo was trying to press, it's just a waste of energy because you're just chasing shadows, right? How many times did we see Bruno just go off, just chasing shadows? Because if a team is not pressing, one man can press. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? So
Yeah, there.
yeah. So that's why I'm not going to be too hard on Ronaldo not press him just because the team was just not set up to press, right? So I'm hoping that this season things will be a little different. So I definitely get your point on that. Obviously, you guys were last point here. You guys were linked to the Kimpembe if the Kounde deal doesn't work out.
We're
How
linked
you
to
feeling about that?
who? We're linked to who?
Kimpembe.
Oh yes, Kim Pembe. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Listen, I have my own Twitter feed because I'm in the know. I'm all over this, Josh.
Yeah,
Yeah, with the Kimpembe one, he played with Tuchel in
at
Paris.
PSG. Yeah,
Yeah, for PSG, and that was two of his best seasons that he was there when he was with Tuchel. And I think he's a really big admirer of him. He fits the same kind of mold as a little bit like Rudiger, where he's really tough, athletic, and really goes hard into challenges, right?
yeah,
So with Rudiger leaving and Koulibaly able to play on either side, I thought that he was probably like a more of a one-of-one replacement for Rudiger. Um,
Okay.
what I've been hearing, I keep saying hearing, but I just reading Twitter. I don't
Yeah. No worries.
have any inside
They
knowledge.
can't all be Fabrizio, right?
Yeah, my guy Fabrizio, 10 million followers for Fabrizio. It's insane. 10 million on Twitter. It's
Well,
amazing.
he's got the connections, right? He's got the ears to the streets.
Yeah, but yeah. So with Kimpembe, what I've been hearing is that he doesn't want to leave PSG, and they don't want to force him to leave. But they were saying that if they got an offer big enough, that they would let him go. But at the moment, he lives in Paris, right?
Yeah.
Getting someone to leave Paris is very difficult to do. So yeah, I think he's probably gonna end up staying. I think that's why we kind of ramped up our efforts with Kounde. So if we do end up playing with the three at the back, it'll be Koulibaly on the left, which is where he played for Napoli, left of the three, with Thiago Silva in the middle, and then Kounde, who's a right center back or a right back on the right side. So I think that kind of completes the three.
Yeah. That makes sense. And maybe that, because I know maybe that's why the back three might work if Kimpembe comes in, right? Because I know he's like you said, his ration tackles. A lot of times he sees it, he sees the danger late, but
Yeah,
he's athletic, he's got that recovery pace. So so it helps him a bit. And who knows? Because the French league is pretty fast. They've got some pretty fast people. So
yeah.
I think he's a decent enough defender. Obviously, PSG makes him look better, I think, personally.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's one of those players who, those players that are not that great, but they have the leadership qualities that just sets
Over.
them apart from
Yeah.
the rest, right? And I think that's something he's had, right? Because he had Thiago Silva at PSG. Now he's got Marquinhos. These are leaders, right? And he's learning from there. Honestly, I would if I were him, I wouldn't leave. Except obviously if PSG came with a good offer, which with PSG's wage bill, I don't blame them for taking that kind of offer, right? It's not like he's not like he's the best defender in the world. So if you can get some good cash from him for him, I
Mm-hmm.
would take it. But him personally, I would stay, man, because he's basically second captain to Marquinhos at
Mm-hmm.
PSG. So if he stays long enough, he's going to be captain. And then, he's loved in Paris. He's on the French team. He's a
Mm-hmm.
leader for the French team. So I can definitely see him. He's captained the French team a couple of times over
Oh, wow.
the likes
Nice.
of Mbappe, right? So he definitely, I feel like Chelsea could be a risk for him,
Mm-hmm.
right? It could be a huge risk, but it could also be a good stepping stone, right? For him to say, you know what, I wasn't just good because I was in League On or because I was at PSG. I'm actually a good defender. So it just never knows. And I'm not too worried about the city thing because London is a good city as well, man. Like a lot of
Yeah,
players love London.
I know
So
British people are gonna be mad at me, but what are we talking about here, man? London or Paris? Paris? What the hell are we doing here? We're
well, I
raised.
guess he's French, so it's different. He speaks French. But if you were I don't know, man. I've heard a lot of no. Don't get me wrong. I see what you're saying. I definitely see what you're saying. Paris for sure, but I think hearing from a lot of players, they tend to love London as well, right? It's one of those places.
Yeah, it is a big city, maybe in that sense, but
At least it's not him going to Manchester, right? Manchester is
yeah,
that's
that'd be
rough. Going to Manchester, like from Paris to Manchester, that's a downgrade of a city,
yeah.
right?
That is
That's
crazy.
like moving
I've
from
had,
Toronto to Niagara Falls, man. Like
bro,
it's a
the fact,
downgrade. Like
the
the
fact
only
that
thing that's
LeBron,
keeping that economy is obviously they've got the arts.
mm-hmm,
Like I know Manchester is huge in arts and rock
so
and roll,
mm-hmm,
and then obviously the two teams that they have there now, right? So,
yeah, for
but
sure.
other than that, yeah, for sure. Well, obviously, just due to time, we got to wrap up. But we've done almost an hour, which is pretty good,
Yep.
anyways. Yeah, man. So obviously, you said top four for you will be top four and an FA Cup would be considered success for
And
the
a
season, right?
and a Champions League final, and Champions League semifinal as well.
And a champion. Okay, semifinals. Okay, at least you got to go far, right? So that's the main thing. So yeah, definitely been a fun conversation. Obviously, I'm looking forward to the season, man. It's how many weeks out now? I think it's 2 or 3 weeks out to
Yes.
kick off, and yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be a lot. Hopefully, I'll have you back soon, before the season starts, just to wrap up the transfer season and see if you guys bring in any new players. One last question: if you were, what player would you like to see come in right now? That for you, you would feel like this was a good transfer window.
One player, great question. I would go with Rafael Leao on from.
Rafael Leao. He's the Portuguese from is it Benfica or
He's on AC Milan. He
he's
won
on
player.
AC Milan? AC Milan, yes, AC Milan.
Yeah, this guy. I don't watch a lot of Serie A, but when I had a chance to, it's he fits that kind of Mbappe mold where he's tall, he runs the defenders, great dribbler, and
Yeah.
electric pace. So I think if you can get ahead of the curve and get him in now before the Madrids and Barcelonas and cities come find him, that would be ideal for me.
Okay, yeah. And I don't think he would be that expensive in the market right now either.
Yeah, I
So,
think 80 million. I don't know if that's in pounds or in euros. They
oh
keep
yeah,
using
because AC Milan just won the league. So
and
yeah, but they need money though. They still
he
need
won,
money.
he won MVP of that entire league that year. He had like 12 goals, 11 assists, but he had like half of them, or like the majority of them, towards the ending of the season. Like
Of the season.
it was something like crazy that he did. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I was just trying to think because for me, I can't really think of any player right now that I would want to come in and change.
come on, gotta be one.
I don't know, man. The market is kind of dead right now.
If you can think, okay, if we can get this player in, he'll change our like whatever projection you had for Manchester this year. If we get this one player in, we're only gonna go up. What player would that be?
I feel like it would be midfield because I think that's where we need the most help.
Uh-huh.
And you know what? I wanted to say Josh Kimmich, but I haven't seen him play in a while, so I don't know if he's still up to those standards.
He's a baller though. He is a
Yeah, Josh Kimmich because he's versatile. He's just one of those like old school footballers that he's very simple, direct, skilled, can score you goals, can defend.
yep.
You know, he's got an engine on him too. I
Yeah.
think that would be to me that would be the kind of yeah that's who I would be looking at.
I,
But
I
obviously, I know that's unrealistic.
I like
You
that.
know, German players do not leave Germany, so until they're old and ready to retire.
Schweinsteiger.
Pretty much, pretty much. But anyways, guys, man, it's definitely been fun. Ezzy, I really appreciate you for taking the time. I'm sorry, guys. I have a cold, so I haven't been sounding the best. But we definitely had to do this because we're both itching to definitely talk about transfers and see how the season is going. Obviously, I don't want to do too many of these shows because it's a lot of like you said. I heard through the grapevine. I like to I like to talk about things when it's actually signed in stone. When I see not the Photoshop of the player, because nowadays they're pretty good with that.
They
They're
get
pretty
you.
good with the Photoshop.
They
Sorry.
they get me on that all the time. The
I
Photoshop.
know, man. I'm like, okay, guys, is this photoshopped or so? None of the Photoshop stuff. I want to see a live image of him saying, "Hey, guys, I'm home." So that's what I want to see, and then we can have those conversations. But yeah, sometimes you're just repeating the same conversations over and over and over again. So, but yeah, guys, it's definitely been fun. I really appreciate those of you that tuned in. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe. And for those of you that are into podcast, please tune in to our podcast. Is called Treble Talk, a football podcast. You can find it on Apple Music, Spotify, anywhere that you do listen to your podcast. It's a great show that we do have. We try to represent obviously England, Spain. We're looking to join, have someone from Italy represent us on the show. So if you're somebody who is more into podcasts, you're not really into watching videos, and you want something casual to listen to, Treble Talk, a football podcast on Spotify and Apple Music. But till then, till next time, guys, take care.